So I mean, you don't.
It's 6:01. I'm calling the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting of July 3rd, 2024 to order. May we begin with roll call?
Yes, sir. Rolando Cáceres,
Present.
Cindy E. Cantu, Manuel Rangel,
Present.
Johnny Narvaez,
Present.
Jim Belmontes,
Present.
Regina Portillo, Daniel Salvaz, Adolfo Martinez, and Hector Garcia.
I am present.
For the record, you do have one.
Mentally, I don't know.
Thank you. May I have a motion to excuse those
So
commission
moved,
members?
Mr. Chair. Second.
Motion and a second by Commissioner Garcia. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh.
This is.
The record show that Commissioner Salapas is present at 6:02. Moving on to consider approval of minutes of the regular meeting of June 20th, 2024, and June 6th, 2024. We have a motion by Commissioner Rangel.
Second.
Second, Commissioner Cáceres. All in favor?
Discussion,
Yes.
discussion. We did make the amendments, we did make the corrections on the one series of minutes, not this last one, but the one prior.
On the 20th, right?
Yeah.
That's why you couldn't approve
I
it
would
last.
assume so. However, if somebody notices
Let me take-
any corrections that are needed, please point them out. We'll be happy to take them.
It's, one's for June sixth, right?
That was on
They were good, they were good. Yes.
So we have a motion and a second by Commissioner Cáceres. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Moving on to citizen comments. I do have some registration cards, but I believe they're for this particular items, correct?
That's correct. Is it propane?
Yes, they're 6A and 6B
The applicant, just for the record, this item, the applicant has requested to be tabled.
to postpone.
Table or postpone? Because
Okay, right.
motion to postpone,
So, let's open public hearing and then,
open public hearing, motion to open public hearing number
Second.
6A.
so we have a motion, a second by Commissioner Rangel. All in favor?
Aye.
Against, motion carries. So there is a motion to postpone, item 6A. There will be no action taken. But we do have a citizen's comment by Mr. Keith Franklin. If you'd like to go ahead and just come up and,
Sure, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the commission. I understand that there's a motion to potentially postpone, but thank you for allowing me the opportunity to still speak to you. So my name's Keith Franklin, and I'm an attorney representing two constituents, Louis LaVode and Dr. Michael Galo. And on their behalf, we're in opposition to the proposed zone change in item 6A on the agenda. As y'all can see, it's seeking to rezone the property at 1701 East O'Kane Street from an R1 to an R2 multifamily residential zone. I believe that the staff recommendation is to deny it. We've submitted our opposition in the comment card, but also online. And then just as a little bit of context for my client's position, Mr. LaVoe's property where he lives is at 1710 Clark. That's directly adjacent to the subject lot on its southern boundary. So I don't know if you all have a map or anything where you're able to see this, but it makes my client's property backdoor neighbors to the subject lot.
What number did you say?
It's
Louis LaVoe?
6A.
16 what?
Oh, I'm sorry. My client's address
Uh-huh.
is 1710 Clark. So it's just directly opposite the subject lot. And my other client, Dr. Galo, owns the property and lives at 1602 Clark, which is just across the street on the block next to the subject lot. And again, so both of these homeowners, they've lived at their respective homes for many, many years in the Heights neighborhood, and the character of the surrounding neighborhood there is entirely R1, and it's nothing but single-family dwellings all around the subject lot. And if this were to be changed to an R2, it would be on its own island in the middle of nothing but single-family homes in a entirely R1 neighborhood. And the next closest R2 designation is a significant ways away. So changing the zone to an R2 for this lot is going to negatively impact the surrounding homeowners for the economic benefit of only a single landowner. Traffic also would increase significantly along with street parking in a neighborhood that's simply not designed with those circumstances in mind. And if the goal of the owner of the subject lot, who's Mr. Juan Cruz, he's a fellow attorney and a friend and respectable colleague of mine, but if his goal is to build a rental property on the lot, he still can. Under an R1 zone, he's just not able to do it under an R2 multifamily designation, but he could still build a single family home and rent it to a single tenant. And everybody would win in that scenario versus granting the zone change where only one landowner wins and everybody else loses. His purchase of the lot was very recent. It was earlier this year, and he's a very smart guy and had to have known, or should have known, that it was zoned R1 when he bought it. And so that's all I've got on behalf of my clients. We'd ask that you deny the requested zone change in item 6A on the agenda.
Thank you, Mr. Rankin. So we do have a request by the applicant to postpone this item. Is it time certain, or is it, did he use time certain?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So motion to close the public hearing and
I have
postpone the
a
item.
real quick question. Well, I'll wait till that actually change, because I live in that neighborhood too. And around that neighborhood, there's a lot that has two trailers that they're renting. So check what they're under. There's another house that has a house behind the two. Check that too, because that's our neighborhood too. So
Yeah, if-
I like to see that.
If you notice in your packet, the north of Reynolds and
And right in front of it,
west
we have a
of-
double two.
west of Meadow is R3 zoning. So you will see multifamily and even
Right
mobile
across the
homes,
street from the
mobile
property.
homes would be allowed,
Right.
so. But for the most part, within one block of the subject property, it is zoned all R1.
But right in front of that property is a house with a house in the back. So what is that,
The look, 1702?
mhm.
1702
I think so.
O'Kane. It could be, I mean, I'm just thinking, it could be servants' quarters.
I was looking that up to see that.
Yeah,
But it
which
doesn't-
are allowed,
Okay,
okay.
thank you.
So we,
So a motion to close the public hearing and postpone the item time certain.
Second.
we have a motion and a second by Commissioner Salapas. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Motion, item's been tabled. Postponed, I'm sorry. Moving on to.
Thank you, sir.
Moving on to items 6B. Amend the zoning ordinance map of the City of Laredo by rezoning lots 1 and 2, Block 88 Eastern Division, save and accept a 0.0255 acre, 1,110 square feet tract of land as further described by meets and bounds and attached Exhibit A located at 101 and 103 Guadalupe Street from B3 Community Business District to M1 Light Manufacturing District. And then may I have a motion to open the public hearing?
Motion to open public hearing 6B, right?
Second.
Second, Commissioner Argala, all in favor?
Aye.
Against, motion carries. We now read that into record.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. For the record, we have the applicant GFI Management as the owner applicant, and we have Rebecca Gestor as the representative. Property location is lots 1 and 2, block 88, Eastern Division, and approximately 0.0255 acres tract of land, located at 103 Guadalupe Street and 1213, which is actually, I'm sorry, 103 Guadalupe Street. Zone change request is from B3 to M1. Proposed use is light manufacturing, which is Saxa manufacturing, bottling, and distribution. Letter sent is 30. None for, none against. Location view. Aerial view. Street view. Zone change signage. Zoning map. Future land use map. And the recommendation is staff does not support, but does recommend a conditional use permit. And the proposed motion.
Thank you. This is a public hearing. Anyone who wishes to speak in favor? In favor?
No, we're against, I'm sorry.
In favor?
Hello, everybody. We were here last time.
Your name for the record?
Rebecca Geisler. I know we were here last time and there was some confusion, but I would like to present a broader image of the surrounding area so y'all can get a better idea of what's really around there. Because on the report that the planning department, I think, did, it states that it would create an isolated zoning if we were to change to M1, which I believe is not the case. Can I put this up here? Okay, if you, my property is this one in here. As you can see, I'm surrounded by M1s. The other reason they gave was
What's on the other side?
to the front,
Uh-huh.
right here, it's a fire department. And then to this side, there's a bunch of homes, but I mean, they have M1 right up to them, and the access to get into there is really going through the homes. The access to get into my property, we're between Guadalupe and Chihuahua. The chances of a trailer going into the residential home is not gonna happen. If you look further down on Corpus right here, this is all M1. I created this is the view of those 4 blocks. The Corpus right here, Garfield, La India, there's a nightclub here. They're surrounded by residential homes. So, I mean, I get what you're saying to a point, but the logic behind it doesn't register with me because I'm surrounded by M1s. Another thing, it said that I was aware of a special use permit. No one in the department. I'm aware of it because I've done it before for rental property, but to the extent of what you can do and can't do in the last hearing, if someone complains and someone feels like, oh, they broke a rule, they can come take it from you, and then where does that leave us? All this money invested, set up, and then y'all can just pull the special use permit. I would get it if we were the only ones in the area, but there are several M1s. I went through the packet of like all the zoning and like the different things that are allowed. And what the planning department provided to me, it said that the purpose of an M1 is for quiet, clean, free of hazardous, no noise, odor, dust, and smoke. A lot of the things allowed in M1 will cause all these things that should be avoided. What we're trying to do isn't going to cause any of this. Not only that, we're beautifying a building. We're putting money into the community. I mean, I really don't see why anyone would be against it when people who live there are already surrounded by M1s. And I think that's all I have to say.
Thank you. So, you did see the reasoning as far as what staff put as the reasons for why they did not support the M1. However, the reason why they would support the conditional use permit. A lot of times when we do a conditional use permit, it protects you as the person who's operating the permit, and at the same time protects the residents around the area. You're just 100% against going to conditional
I
use
just
permit.
feel I was reading also, we get a conditional use permit according to an ordinance or something I read on the city. Of we get another partner, if someone invests money into it, we have to go through this process all over again. So it doesn't really protect us. It kind of holds, like, the city's gonna be in our business forever. We have a special use permit, and I just don't, I'm surrounded by M1s. There's beers, there's Southern Sanitation, La India Packing, the cabinet. I mean, I'm surrounded by them. It's not like I'm the only one looking for it. And like I said before, I'm located right between Guadalupe and Chihuahua. So trucks coming in, if we're a small family-owned business, it's not like we're having 10, 20 trucks come in to pick up our salsa. And if that's ever the case, we would hopefully outgrow that location. We own the other residential homes on that block. We're the majority owner of that block. So the people who would really be affected are my property, so. You get the point.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I do have 2 registration cards. I have a Melissa Sepulveda. We'll do one at a time,
Okay.
just for order.
Good afternoon, everybody. Yes, I'm Ms. Sepulveda. I'm sorry, I am for business, I mean, it's Go Laredo, Shop Laredo, pero it's just the location. The location is, what, if you're coming from Guadalupe, going downtown, it's where the bridge comes down. And the bridge comes down, and it's where they wanna build, that warehouse, it's on your left. And right there have been so many accidents. I mean, I grew up in that neighborhood. You just cross the bridge, and they hit the car lot, enseguida is Flores, they used to have a car repair shop, enseguida Miss Flores, my dear friend, they ran and crashed all her fence. Next door, that was about 2 years ago, the Gonzalez's, all the car went in, they killed, ahí almost all, the poor dogs. It's like, it's like all of them, they've been hit, that I know of, the next block, no sé, and then across those apartments, también they've been hit. So that's crossing the bridge. So when they're coming down and they're gonna have this warehouse, the trucks, they're gonna slow down the traffic. They're gonna slow down, and you know they're coming really fast. There've been so many accidents. There've been death there. Pobrecito, un muchacho crossing the bridge, he died in a black Trans Am across the street. Somebody else, también another guy, he died there. So that's a block away. So if you build that right there where you go now, there's gonna be more traffic, more trucks, or the trailers, the trucks, they move slow. So the traffic is coming fast, so it's just gonna be more accidents. It's just a bad location. Or the man is saying that if they grow, well, they're gonna move because they don't have anywhere to grow. It's between Guadalupe and Corpus, and Orion behind them is that property where they built that. It's closed. I mean, you can't build back. In the front, are Bomberos. The other 2 busy streets, I mean, there's nowhere she can grow if she grows. So it's just too dangerous. All the kids in Azteca, they have to cross through there. And I don't know that because when I was little, up to 7th grade, I used to live in Azteca, and I would come through the little, San Pablo, that street next to the creek, and you cross the Chihuahua, or that bridge, and then you have to cross Guadalupe. So with another business there, it's gonna be super, super dangerous. Or they all go to J.C. Martin. So all the kids from Azteca, they have to cross through there. And I've been a teacher 27 years, and I know the crossing guards, they're just gonna help you cross just right there where the street is from the school. They're not gonna come and help you cross. In Corpus, they have the light, but acá en Guadalupe and in Corpus, there's no light. So it's really, really dangerous. And I'm sorry, I do believe in businesses growing. Before, ahorita, there used to be the flautitas, they used to have a beauty shop, they used to have ¿cómo se llama? Coffee shop, and those were fine, but this is gonna be something really big, and it's gonna create more traffic, and it's really bad. Now, my parents' house is a block and a half on Sanders, and when we moved there, I live on Laredo, my parents on Guadalupe, when I was just my dad, because my mom already passed away. In front used to be Monte, where the railroad tracks are, and now, see, they made the bodega, the warehouses, And oh my goodness, batallamos tanto las trailers. It was horrible. It was horrible. The trailers would hit my sister's car, se caían las trailers on the side, and they would make holes in the street. It was just too dangerous having the trailers. I mean, and they would go up the curb, and I know Mr. Galo, my mom would always call him, y ya pusieron those big bars and those fierros so they don't go up. So where they want to build this, there's residential in front on Guadalupe and in Chihuahua in the back. So I know what these people are going to go through with all the trucks and the trailers. It's nerve-wracking. You're right there and you see the trailer coming up, and no, it's just too dangerous for the kids and for the neighbors. And yes, there are a lot of bodegas, but it's like we're getting swallowed. We're getting swallowed, the residential people. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm sorry.
No, we have to set a limit to keep order and to keep it going.
No need
I
to
have-
apologize.
I have a Miss Rosa Garza. We also keep it 3 minutes, just to keep order.
That's why I brought my notes, so I could be fast.
No worries. No, thank you.
And try to be under
No, you're
3
fine.
minutes. Yes, as you know, my name is Rosa Garza, and I live at 1213 Monterrey Avenue. Okay. I'm against this manufacturing plant because I want to know how this zoning change is going to reflect on our property value. Is it going to devaluate it? Are taxes going to go up? And if in the foreseeable future, this manufacturing is no longer this, they require more. I mean, what I'm worried about is that since the zoning will stay the same zoning, it's gonna be manufacturing from now on, right? Once you change it, it doesn't go back, right? To the original manufacturing.
correct.
Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so what I'm worried about is when this zoning, when these people live there, that it becomes too small for them, I'm worried about how it will open the doorway to other manufacturing plants that'll be there instead of them, okay? How hazardous are they gonna be? They're not, and I'm worried about the smell that they're gonna produce because it's cheating. It is gonna produce smell. It is gonna go up to the air, and we are gonna be, and I'm very worried that we're gonna be affected health-wise. My husband right now is in chemo. So yes, you all know, chemo brings the immune system way down anytime you get chemo treatments. I'm worried how his health is gonna be affected too. Another thing is, I'm also concerned about all, like she was saying, all about the extra traffic that it's gonna do. I have a picture right here that I took before I came here. Can I put it here? How do I do?
Yes.
Right here?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, let's see. Like that, okay. This is the manufacturing plant right here. These are the firefighters just across the street, okay? And to the back here, that's my house. This is my house. On that block, only my house exists and another block. So we're just two people there. I've lived there for 70 years in that house. So that residential area is mostly seniors. So we're all very concerned about having been seniors, how the extra traffic is gonna affect the firefighters from going, on emergency calls. I've had the firefighters go to my house for my husband, and they're there like that. In 3 minutes flat, they're there. With extra traffic, how is it gonna be possible? I know it's gonna require trailers parking. They're coming and going, parking, well, the employees too. I don't know if we're gonna have enough parking space either, right? So that's all that I have to say, and I thank you very much for all your listening.
Thank you, Ms. Garza.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Are there any questions for the commission to staff in regards to this?
Quick question. She was saying there's a lot of M1s in the area. Out of all those M1s, does any of those have a conditional use permit to be where they're at?
There are a lot of bodegas.
No, we're asking, Sam, I'm sorry.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
the M1s in the area are typically, they were along the rail lines.
Right.
They were along the rail lines. You see the M1 just east of the site is along the highway. It's basically the bridge structure. So these are long-standing, I mean, they're very,
Grandfathered in.
they're,
Okay.
it looks like they were established when the initial zoning came aboard. They're not changes, zone changes. They came in when zoning was adopted.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
with respect to that, you're saying that when, as that developed, it was all along the railroad lines, I can see that, and so all of that was determined by the city as M1, or did the individual property owners at some point petition the city?
No, if you see where the rail line kind of, there's I don't know if you can see in your packet, it sort of kind of goes along like that, and you'll see that's the M1 follows the rail line. Because of course, manufacturing and warehousing was placed there to serve the rail line.
Right. The images that you all have on the packet don't really do it justice. If you look at it from Google Earth, you're looking at the down, I guess it's the down ramp coming west on Guadalupe, the
That's
up
correct.
ramp going from Chihuahua. The state of Texas took over that one piece where the bridge structure that goes over the rail lines goes, and that isolates half that block to where
Yes.
this M1
So
is.
you'll see that the R3 is taken up, just abutting the site is the sort of the structure of the ramp.
Of the ramp.
And you're correct, and it is along highway. That is something that we considered. This was something that we had to like scratch our heads over quite a bit because of its location along the highway, because of its proximity to a grade separation. However, it was that those residences just abutting the site that we've seen over and over again, the placement of M1 zoning abutting residential is always a concern. So, and for those reasons, we thought there is a path towards their goal. It would provide a measure of protection to the folks that live in the vicinity, that this in fact would be the use, that it would be a salsa-bottling plant, that it wouldn't be sold to some other M1 use if the zone were changed. And for those reasons, we were unable to support the zone change.
Mr. Chairman, and for the property owner who's petitioning the commission, do they own the remainder of that property on that block?
It appears that, I'm not sure
If I could ask.
if they own the remainder.
Could you come to the podium, please? Again, Mr. Chairman, the question is whether or not they control the property to the south of where they want to put in this M1 zone.
We own this lot and the 1109 next to it. We are in talks for the corner lot. It's not a final deal, but the goal is to, but like these
80%.
are non-existent.
Yeah.
So it throws it off a little bit because it seems like there's homes there, but there really isn't any homes.
So I have a question for staff. So the abutting residence, is that the abutting residence that you're referring to?
Yeah, the 1109 was our concern, and then the multifamily residence south of that, as well as the residences along the highway to the north. And again, we had gotten several calls concerned with some of the things that they'd mentioned with regard to odor. And those are the sorts of things that a conditional use permit can mitigate, can make sure that, we can control access, hours of operation, odors, fencing, screening, all those sorts of things which don't have those sorts of protections with a zone change.
But back to that question, so 1109 you do own?
Yes.
You control 1109?
Yes.
So the balance of the property that is wedged between Guadalupe and Chihuahua
It's hers.
Monterrey with the west is hers.
Yeah.
So she controls both the industrial corridor frontage on the north and the industrial corridor frontage on the south.
Yeah.
Right, she's wedged right in the middle of that, with the fire department on
She
the
says
opposite
she
side of the.
controls 1109, but not the,
Not the corner
not
property,
the corner yet.
not yet.
And which, when you say corner, what, because I see
It is
1109.
the-
102.
The northwest
long
of
one?
Monterrey and Chihuahua.
Okay, so the corner lot, again,
Oh.
the image you sent us in the packet does do justice, it doesn't give me a dividing line. I can see 1109, but I don't see, I guess what would be 102 Chihuahua?
Is it like a long house or something like that?
There's a mobile home in the back, which
Uh-huh.
they don't have access to it because the state took it away when they built the bridge. So, and then that corner house, they have a parking, this one right here. We don't
Is it
own that one.
103?
South, it is,
102.
it looks like it's 102 Chihuahua.
Yeah.
So it's a sort of a multifamily type structure located at 104. Looks like at 102 is a, if I remember correctly, a kind of carport type thing. And then at 104 is the multifamily, and then also at 104, directly abutting the grade separation structure is a mobile home.
Because it looks, again, on Google Earth, it looks completely different than what it does on this image here. You can see 1109 does not encompass the balance of that property, it's just a wedge in between. And the corner property they don't own, the property next to it, 104, they don't. And then there's, I guess, a mobile home there, it's right up against the concrete.
Yeah,
Correct.
and they have no,
No access to it.
yeah, when,
Okay.
I
Just
have
wanted
an
to get my
agreement with the
bearings
mobile home when they're moving back to Mexico. We have first right to buy it from them.
Thank you.
If there's a lot of traffic, why is it create a lot more traffic?
I wanted to ask you several questions. This property, you're going to change it? Are you gonna make it a warehouse or
No,
are
it's
you-
existing, we redid the roof.
Mhm.
It has no electricity, no plumbing right now, so we're gonna put all that in. We're gonna redo the parking lot. If I can put the survey, cause I know traffic is a concern. This is the current property. Right here is where Juancho lived. There's a home right here that I'm gonna tear down.
Mhm.
So this would become all parking
Okay.
in the back. But, yeah, it was, my mother bought it before she passed away.
Mhm.
It was her storage for the past 12 years. So that's what we've been using it for. And now we're cleaning it out, we're trying to, and I know there's a plan to like beautify Zacate Creek, right? And I mean, eventually the goal is, like I said, we outgrow it to turn it into like a cultural, where people can go and like have, rent it out, cause it's gonna have a kitchen in it as like, they do it up north a lot where like you go and you get like 10-course meals and like you're invited to like special. So we don't plan to like sell it off to a big time manufacturer who's gonna come in and put a water plant there or something like that. And the land is not conducive to a lot of what M1 is allowed to be. I mean, a horse track can go in back here if they clear out all the M1s, like, I'm surrounded by them, actually. And I get the traffic, there is a lot of accidents going down. My nephew was one of them who passed away, but those accidents happen after the fact. And if you can even argue with them slowing down traffic, it would prevent a lot of those accidents down the road from them coming over that hill too fast.
Yeah, that has nothing to do with it.
Yes,
And if-
it has nothing to do.
Just think, just also you consider, if you consider the conditional use permit, it still allows you to operate what you want to operate.
Yeah, but then I have the chances of the neighborhood getting together and coming and fighting in one city.
It's not that simple, but
Well,
just
that's-
saying for you to consider, just.
I mean, that's my option forward. I just don't want to be on the hook where it's always a fight to come and adjust and it being held over her head that it can be pulled.
I'd rather have a fight later than not being able to fight at all, you know, think about that.
Yeah, and maybe maybe y'all should go through zoning and what's allowed in certain zoning, and change it up. Because if you go through them, a lot of the stuff that's allowed in B3 that I can put there now would have the same effect as what I'm trying to do with an M1. So.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
question for staff.
Sure.
In the conditional use permits, she would be allowed to do this, I guess it's a packaging plant more than anything else, right? She's
Exactly.
Yeah,
looking for-
bottling and distribution.
Could she not do that out of a restaurant? I mean, if she had a restaurant, let's just assume for the moment, which is allowable in B3, she could cook as much salsa as she
Salsa.
wants and set it at the front counter with takeout. I'm just,
I guess it would depend on, I guess, when we would look at it, is the primary use a restaurant? Or is the
Agreed.
primary use the bottling and distribution of salsa?
agreed.
So that's, we would have to consider all of
And
that
the reason
stuff.
I bring that up, Mr. Chair, is because she mentioned that her goal is that maybe if Zacate Creek is going to be beautified, and there's gonna be an opportunity for her to create a chef's tasting type style restaurant where they, you come in and it's, you bring 10, 20 people, you get these 10 courses, and you kind of pay for the whole meal, in bulk, so to speak. She'd still be able to do that. in
Oh,
in
restaurant, I mean, yeah,
right?
you'd be allowed to do a restaurant right today.
So it's tantamount to a good compromise for her to take a conditional use permit here. And
We thought
again,
so.
most of those arguments would be happening at a municipal court, not just out in the street, we would hope. And again, not to take a kick to the city, we've never yanked a conditional use permit. It's been rare that we've ever come out and taken somebody's conditional use permit.
That's correct.
So,
Actually, in the last 20 years, we are gonna proceed with, consideration of revocation for the very first time.
well, there you go. So, I mean, just the rarity that ever happens. Now, Mr. Chair, the other reason I mention that is because I know that the folks who are in opposition to it would still get the very same thing you're opposing under conditional use permit. Just understand that. To not an important, no, under a conditional use permit, we will allow her to do the bottling plant.
Exactly.
Exactly the way she wants it, except there'll be some restrictions to her, as well.
Minimum.
And yes, minimal.
Minimal.
But there will still be restrictions, and she would still be allowed to have her bottling. And we're trying to find a compromise to allow for business to go forward, but then again, not to open the door for potentially somebody else buying that property and doing something maybe more intensive than just bottling salsa. So I just wanted to make sure that you all understood that if she does go the route of the conditional use permit, which staff would support, from what I can tell,
And the traffic's still there.
and the
And
traffic's
the
still
traffic's
there,
still there.
all the issues that you all are presenting to us tonight in opposition, she would still have the opportunity to do the bottling plant. So I just wanted to put that on the record.
Yeah.
So, if there's no other questions, what sort of action would the commission like to take? Sorry, yes, if you could, just
Yes, please.
The bottling, business, how big would it be? The warehouse, and, because if she makes it, she's gonna go a certain size, and then when she gets bigger, isn't it gonna fit nowhere? And that's if the property owner sell, that's still,
So basically what happens is that the zoning remains the zoning as it is. So the conditional use permit is attached to her as she's the operator. So once she outgrows the location and she needs to move, the conditional use permit will now be ceased. And the property will still be zoned B3 as it is.
As it is.
So we still protect you, all the residents for now, as it being B3. If we go M1, then it could be anything going forward. So
Under that
the
M1.
conditional use permit at least allows her to operate what she wants to operate, and it protects her, and it protects you all as the residents as far as the zoning. But she's still able to do what she's allowed to do based on what the city recommends as far as restrictions. So they'll put rules. I mean, she is a budding use, so they'll make rules and conditions that she has to abide and she has to comply with before she can actually operate. But if she agrees to those conditions, then she can pretty much go forward. Now, ours is just a recommendation. The final say-so is city council.
Okay.
So we just recommend, yes or no. But we are, at this point, kind of not urging, but recommending a conditional use permit.
Okay, and that permit would be for how long? For life?
For when she's open.
How long is it?
Oh, conditional use permit, typically they don't impose an expiration or time limit.
Just
It
on
is
the
at the discretion of council. They can certainly do so, but typically they are for the life of the
Operation.
business.
The
and
operation.
As long as that person owns that business.
Okay, and one of the residents, she's concerned about the smell. I mean, how would that be controlled? It's gonna be hard.
I don't know. I can't
How many
give you
sauces
an
do you
exact
sell?
answer as far as that.
We would probably research it and try to put in
Yeah.
something about odors and
Yeah.
filters and that
Yeah.
sort of thing.
Because,
It would have to-
India is a fabulous place, I love it, but you just pass through there, and I live a couple of blocks from there, but the smell is really strong, and that's when everything's closed, you can still smell it.
Right.
So, I don't know about,
There's requirements about,
I'm sorry?
if there's requirements that they have to have certain kind of, filtration, would they do that?
Yeah, we would definitely, if the applicant were to pursue a conditional use permit,
Yeah.
we fully,
Right.
review, any pertinent requirements under the Code of Ordinances or the Land Development Code as they pertain to that specific use. We typically include those, and then if we see something that hasn't been addressed, where we think, okay, lighting, we wanna make sure that lighting is, downward facing, or, lesser lumens, that kind of thing,
The
we will go
noise.
ahead and include those, and council, does have the right to include, extra or over what the codes allow currently for specific uses to, again, mitigate any of those negative impacts.
it's just, also there's been so many accidents, and that's just crossing the bridge.
Yeah.
The traffic's gonna be more there, or the people coming down, they're coming down more than 40, they're not just gonna stop all of a sudden, the accident are now gonna be on this side of the bridge.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you.
There's
I
no-
just wanted to clarify, and I don't know if it is exactly correct. We recommended pursuit of a conditional use permit. We don't wanna,
Yes.
say we're gonna support, right away. We'd have to take a look at their site plan, do they meet all the performance standards, all of that, okay?
Thank you. Are there any other questions?
No.
I have a motion to close the public hearing and support staff's recommendation.
Second.
So we have a motion to support staff recommendation of not supporting the zone change. And we have a second by Commissioner Sala Paz. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
Next.
We're now moving on to, yes, their consideration of,
Just consideration.
yes. We're now moving on to reconsideration of the following preliminary plats and preliminary replats. Yes. Are we okay?
I just wanted to make sure that, the applicant knows that if she does get a denial at council, that does trigger the waiting periods. So that may be something to
They can
consider.
explain that to her outside.
And we will. We will definitely reach out to her and explain, appeals processes and everything going forward. I'm sorry.
Item 7A, preliminary reconsideration of the plat of Phoenix Village subdivision Phase 13. The intent is residential. The purpose of the reconsideration is to reconfigure lots and acreage.
Yes, sir, for the record, the applicant is AFW Investments on the deed, engineer is Surf Engineering Company. Proposed use is residential. The zoning for the 60 lot development is R1 MH. Location view. Aerial view. It's flat. Staff comments planning. Fire. Parks and Leisure. And the proposed motion.
Thank you.
So, is that what happened?
You're in support, yes.
No, we're not in
No.
support.
We're not
We
in
denied the zone change.
The zone,
We denied
We
it.
denied it.
Yes, but they're gonna have a, conditional permit.
No, ma'am. We denied the zone change.
Period.
We
If she
recommend
does,
the
that's-
denial of the zone
that's
change.
it.
They'll go to city council, they will vote, they could vote, agree with our recommendation
recommendation or they can go against it. But as of now, we denied the zone change.
Our recommendation is denied the zone.
Okay, thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
I really appreciate it.
Yes. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome, ma'am.
Engineer Record.
Venía mi.
Have a great day.
Sorry.
Se sentó a media.
No worries, no worries. Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, Frank Estrada with Sherfy Engineering, and we concur with staff comments.
Good. Are there any questions for the engineer?
No.
If not, what's our action of the commission like to take?
Motion to,
Thank you.
to approve, subject to staff comments.
Second.
We have a motion and a second by Commissioner Garcia. All in favor?
Aye.
Against, motion carries. If there are no objections, we're moving to consideration of the following final plats and final replats. There's no objections by staff or commission to hear items 8A through 8D together.
We'll make a motion that we hear items 8A through 8D together.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Rangel and a second by Commissioner Garcia. All in favor?
Now you created a monster. Created a monster.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Can we have a motion for action on items 8A through 8D?
Motion to approve items 8A through 8D.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Rangel and a second by Commissioner Sala Paz. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. May we read those into record?
Yes, sir. For the record, final consideration of the plat of San Andres property subdivision approved. Final consideration of the plat of the coast at Winfield Phase 7C approved. Final consideration of the plat of Tierra Bona 1 subdivision approved. Final consideration of the replat of block 1713, parts of lots 1, 7, 8, block 1782, Eastern Division, and New York Avenue, Chacon Street, and Piedrachina Street into 3 Points Village subdivision approved.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're now moving on to consideration of model subdivision compliance. If there's also no objection by commission or by staff to hear items 9A through 9C together.
Motion to approve,
No, to hear.
to hear, items 9A through C altogether.
We have a motion by Commissioner La Paz.
Second.
Second, Commissioner Belmontes, all in favor?
Aye.
Against, motion carries. Now, can I have sort of action by the commission? Motion?
Motion to approve items 8A through 8C.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Rangel and a second by Commissioner Sala Paz. Oh, yes.
Correction, 9A.
9A, I'm sorry. 9A through 9C. I
You have a
apologize.
correction, okay. Motion by Commissioner Rangel and a second by Commissioner Sala Paz. All in favor?
Aye.
Against, motion carries. Are there, before we adjourn, are there any clerk's comments?
Yes, of course, we'd like to wish everybody a very happy 4th of July. Just letting everybody know that the city will be closed tomorrow, and reopen on Friday.
Okay.
En vez de hubiera agarrado puente.
Happy 4th of July to everybody.
Just to clarify, our next meeting will be on
Oh,
2
yes,
weeks
can
from
we,
tomorrow.
I'm sorry, Luis,
I'm
would you
sorry?
mind?
Our next meeting will be 2 weeks from tomorrow. Back on Thursday, we're back on the Thursday schedule.
Yes, yes,
Okay,
yes.
thank you.
Wait, Luis, can you read these into record?
Yes, for the record, consideration of model rule subdivision compliance of replat of lot 3, block 355 Western Division into lots 3A and 3B, block 355 Western Division approved. Consideration of model subdivision rule compliance of the plat of the coast at Winfield Phase 4B approved. And consideration of model rule subdivision rule compliance of the plat of San Angel Estate subdivision approved.
Thank you. Now can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved, Mr. Chair. Second.
We have a motion, a second by Commissioner Garcia. All in favor?
Aye.
Against, motion carries. We're adjourned.
Yes,